member for Chestermere-Rocky, followed by Sherwood Park.
Mr. Speaker, Fort McMurray is trying to get the government's attention on education taxes, and if their two elected representatives won't speak up for them, I will, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, the mayor sent a letter to the Premier pointing out the inequities in her town. The mayor is upset, Mr. Speaker, and justifiably so. Her residents are paying a disproportionately high amount in tax and receiving little in the way of new classroom space or support. To the Minister of Municipal Affairs, do you care to enlighten the people of Fort McMurray as to why you are shortchanging them on schools and gouging them with higher taxes?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really appreciate the letter that the Mayor of Fort McMurray wrote. I believe every mayor and every elected official should advocate on their community's behalf, and our two MLAs from the area have done a stellar job in advocating on their community's behalf. The fact remains, though, Mr. Speaker, we had a very unfair system which encouraged many Albertans, taxpayers, education property taxpayers, to have to subsidize other regions, Mr. Speaker, which is patently unfair. We had to move to an equitable playing field, a fair system for every single Albertan in this province.
Mr. Speaker, given that Mayor Blake is also upset with his government's lack of consultation, saying that she is concerned the province failed to enter into discussions regarding removal of the education tax cap in the back-in-debt budget, and given that this government claims to be accountable and transparent, I'd like to ask the Minister of AT&T, who coincidentally represents the people of Fort McMurray, why in the world wouldn't you consult with the mayor before you and your government chose to increase the taxes in your community by $16 million?
Mr. Speaker, I know that this member is still somewhat new to this legislature. It's only been a year. But you should know full well that the process that we have, the parliamentary privilege we have, Mr. Speaker, means that you cannot discuss the budget. It has to be tabled in this House for members of this Assembly first, and you cannot go out and consult about what you're going to do on the budget, about policy changes that you may make. It's so that people can't abuse the system and make investments or make changes that they may profit from, Mr. Speaker. That makes it fair to everybody in Alberta.
Glad to see these MLAs are doing a great job speaking for their riding. Given this government has once again left Fort McMurray in a lurch when it comes to classroom space, just like they did with the twinning of Highway 63 and with promising and delaying a much-needed seniors facility, and given that you have just made Fort McMurray residents pay the highest education property taxes in this province, to the Minister of Municipal Affairs, why is it that not one red cent from this additional $16 million is going back into that community to help with education?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think this honourable member, as the critic for education, should do a little bit more homework. Just like yesterday when it was apparent that he had not read the Inspiring Education report, I wonder if he's actually looked at the budget and seen that the school divisions in Fort McMurray are getting the largest increases in the entire province. Likewise, Mr. Speaker, I would ask the member if he will stand up there with me if, on the day we potentially announce new schools in Fort McMurray, that may potentially, based on infrastructure, decision BP3 or finance schools, if this member of the Wildrose would support taking on debt and financing schools in Fort McMurray.